Just to let you know, this podcast may contain some offensive/explicit language. If you don't like that type of stuff, then you simply don't have to listen. But we've given you your warning. Hope you enjoy. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to, I don't know the episode number, but we're back. Episode 8.
Because you told me yesterday that last one was 7, but Josh put number 5 on the thumbnail because he didn't change it.
Oh, right, okay, yeah. So, yeah, fair enough. That's a little dig into Josh.
Hope you're listening, Josh. Be better.
Episode 8, and Dan is back, as you can see. You've been away, Dan. You've been up to a lot, haven't you, mate?
I've survived.
What's been going on?
I had a baby. I didn't have the baby, but I spawned. Basically.
Spawned the baby?
Yeah.
Yeah. How's that? Because I can't really imagine you as a dad. I know
everyone said that.
The joke of Dan Yeoman's, he's got the mental age isn't quite there for a reasonable adult in my head, but
thanks.
You've taken to it from what I can tell.
Yeah, it's all right actually. So yeah, we've had a little girl called Olive. 4 weeks ago now. What we are? We're Wednesday. Yeah, she's 4 weeks old today. So I was off for a couple of weeks paternitying. And yeah, that's about it, mate.
Yeah.
Everyone says like, oh my God, your life will change. You'll have this complete new look on life, and it'll just be literally like the moment you hold her, you think it's no different, mate. I've just got a kid now. Like I've still got that mental age of 21. So
it is different though, because you can't get out fishing as much now, can you? Or you can, but without being
no, I can't.
Beaten.
I can't. So yeah, but it's to be honest, like everyone, the antenatal classes, they like scaremonger you, I think, into thinking you don't know sleep deprivation. You won't know, and you won't know what's hit you. Those first 3 weeks are hell. And I get like I think it's luck of the draw. Like some kids will be screaming all night, some won't. It's not that bad. It's really not that bad. I said to Blair when he first rang me like a few days later, we were a few days in the hospital, and then when we got home, he rang to see how we were getting on. He said, how is it? How's sleep deprivation? Are you all right? And that's what everyone always asks. It's like, oh, how's the sleep deprivation? I was just like, not bad. Yes, the baby needs to feed every 3 hours. But I said to Blair, it's no different than a busy night's fishing. If you have a couple of bream in the night and you're up at midnight 3 and 5 and redoing the rods for half an hour, it's no different.
I like how we've compared it to when you get up in the night. Yeah, it's just had another bite from a bream, you've got to feed the baby. But
it's the same. You wake up, you're up for half an hour, and then you got to go back to bed, and you've got that broken sleep thing. And yes, if that happens and you're fishing, you're tired a bit the next day, and it's like that kind of every day. But I've found like you soon get used to it, and I've been getting good amount. The girl's pretty good. Like she sleeps really well. So for now, yeah. And I know it can change in an instant, so touch wood. But yeah, me and the missus were getting plenty of sleep. We're feeling good.
I feel like this is. I don't want to talk bad of it. I feel like it's
next podcast. You see me like,
lulling you into.
I can't do it.
Full sense of security.
Yeah. So no, it's going really well. Thanks. So there was a couple of weeks off work. I was keeping in touch with Al on the goings on, but then came back to work last week, and it was sort of like a bit of a baptism of fire. Is that the phrase?
Yeah, it works.
Yeah, I was just a bit mental. So I have been a bit mental the last week or so, and then pulled into a podcast. So yeah, it's gone like a whirlwind the last 4 weeks, but then I wasn't in the office for like a week or so before that, leading up to that. So yeah.
So since
it's been a while.
It's been a while. Yeah.
It's gone quick. It's gone real quick.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say.
I can't believe, like, obviously I did that podcast with Jacob previously, which I don't know how many weeks it's been between, but where you haven't been there, but now you're just back.
Yeah.
It just feels like you haven't even been gone.
Yeah. Yeah, and in reality, I haven't been in the office for like 6 weeks, which I think is the longest time I only come in like 2-3 days a week anyway. I live up in Cambridgeshire. It's a couple hour drive or hour and a half drive, so I don't come in every day anyway, but this is the longest period I've not been in the office for. So, yeah.
What have you missed? I think.
I know, you tell me. I've not been here.
Yeah. No, I think the biggest thing that's happened over the couple of weeks, actually, were you off when America dropped?
No, I was back at work. It was last week, wasn't it?
Was it last week? Yeah. Oh my God, it feels like ages. Yeah. So I was just trying to think in terms of news at Nash, the biggest thing that's happened whilst you've been away and that we can catch up on is probably the launch of
a film that has been in the making for a couple of years. Has it been 2 years yet? Near enough.
Yeah, it was. We shot it October 2023. We went. So, end of September. It was October 2023. We went.
So for people who actually see that video, I know I can't remember. There's a few comments, but it was it looked like we'd been like last month. You know, that was 2 years ago.
I went to a barbecue with friends. Of course, with the baby. I didn't leave it at home. At the weekend, and a couple of the lads, none of them fish, but they like see my Instagram and me doing promo. One of them come up to me and goes, "Have you just been to America?" And I was like, "No, that was like a couple of years ago." He said, I thought, how's he got away with that? He's just had a kid, then just flown straight to America to make that film, and we've just like got it out in a week. But I was like, "No, mate, it was 2 years ago." I don't know why it's taken so long. Usually we work on a year basis. We shoot something in the autumn, we release it the following autumn. So I don't know what happened where it didn't get edited throughout, because usually we do a lot of our heavy editing in the winter. I don't know why. Brad, who edited, must have had a lot on that winter.
Yeah.
As soon as we come back, he must have had a couple of big projects on. And then by the time we got to spring, it was into like fishing and filming season again. And so maybe then it was the next winter he started it. Because I know there was a rough cut in January this year. So he must have worked on it then. And then I think he just hit filming, and he's just been like adding to it when he's had like a few days here and there. And then suddenly it's like, it's like August. So it's mad how quick 2 years goes when you're working like that.
Yeah, because it doesn't feel that long ago. But what I do love is when you can look back on it, especially with trips like that. Obviously, you have your 48-hour trips, but when you get a big one, you know, we were out there for the best part 10, 11 days.
So we were fishing for 7, and then we top and tailed it with like a night or so prep work. But we had the boat booked for 7 days. Yeah.
So anyone who has watched it, I really, really hope you enjoyed it. Obviously, that was we'd said, well, you see from the video, we said we wouldn't do another social after Bled. Yeah. More for the fact that we want to keep things fresh. You know, it's not as if we're saying we're not doing it because we're not doing it. It was more the fact of you're expecting it in a way.
The ethos of Nash with everything is innovation, whether it's the product, whether it's the media. We always want to not, and although sometimes you have to, because at the end of the day, it is carp fishing. There's only so much you can do, but we always want to try and do something different, whether it's like these super cinematic style films that we've done in the last few years, whether it's doing something like America where you're doing something new and different, or Beyond Banks where you're going to these new places and countries. So the America one, like the social, we kind of hit the pinnacle at Bled. We went from a French commercial venue in France for number 1. Number 2, we went to this big Austrian pit, which was again a little bit different, but it had like these massive carp in. Kev joined on that one as well. Number 3 was Poland. So we're going again a little bit further afield, something a little bit different. Not massively in terms of styles of fishing, but you know, it was not that much had been done. We did 3.5, which was actually a bit of a lockdown one, where we did come back home and we did one in the UK on Bluebell, and it ended up not really being a social at all, because
not at all.
Bluebell's a big complex and we all fished different lakes, so that was we called it 3.5 because it was like half and half. It was like, I think we called it internally the anti-social.
Yeah, we did toy with actually calling that on publishing it as that.
Yeah, and then we said, right, we need to go big, and that was Bled. And that was, you know, Nash have such a affinity with the place, with the old Eurobanks videos, and for Alan and Ollie to be able to take us boys there and show us, it didn't get bigger than that for me. And we were all on such a high at the end of that film, and I was like, it's the end. It's the last social. And to be honest, the first one, it always started as like Kev actually treating the boys to a social. It was a team building exercise, and they just said, oh, should we film it? And that's why the company was a lot smaller then. So there was like the lads from the office there was Les there. It wasn't just like the sponsored anglers, if you know what I mean. And then, so now it's like, obviously it's turned into this marketing exercise essentially, because we're going fishing and making a film out of it to showcase our products. If you didn't guess, you get a few comments about that, don't you? It's like, they're just marketing. It's like, yes, that's what this is.
Yeah, we need to do something, otherwise no one knows they're there.
it'd be silly if we did it all and used fox gear.
Yeah,
it'd be a bit counterintuitive. But then, we got to the end of it, and there was this. I remember there being this huge buzz, and almost like this emotional, retrospective. It's the last one, man. We won't do this again. Like as a social. And Blair was just so anxious. We go again. I was just like, how can you get bigger and better than this? This is like the pinnacle of European carp fishing. And yeah, we got back, and Blair was adamant he wants to do another. And I said, well, how can we go bigger and better? And I said, what about doing what Briggsy did and hiring a houseboat on Dale Hollow? And Blair was like,
yeah, we took a lot of inspiration, didn't we, from people like Carl and Alex, obviously, Briggsy, and then to actually get the opportunity to do that. And I think it was a little bit not last minute, but I think it was touch and go, wasn't it, whether we were going to go?
No, not really. No,
my memory's great.
Yeah, no, I worked on it a long time, really. It took a lot of organisation, because there's all the kit you had to get flown out there. It can't be that last minute, because I had to do that like 3 months in advance. Booking the boat as well, you couldn't do that last minute because it would be booked up. Booking the boat, booking the flights, doing the visas, all of that, like it was like a year-long project to get it. Not a year long, but steadily throughout a year to get to where we were. But yeah, it happened. We did it. If anyone who's seen the film, you'll see that I lived my absolute best life. I think you can tell on that film. I think it was a weird one, because like retrospectively looking back at it, it is very out of touch for a lot of people. Not many people are doing it. It's in going out there.
It's costly.
But like Briggsy did it. Briggsy went out there on his own, not on his own, with Joan, but off his own back, hired a houseboat, which actually was far too big for him and Joan. Yeah. He did like a 6-bed houseboat. And he went and did it. He took some gear on the flight with him, rod tube, tackle bag, bought the bait and etc. out there, and he did it. Yeah. So it's more than possible. But yeah, we just decided to do it to a level where there was all of us on there.
Yeah, that was some vessel.
Some trip, wasn't it? It was some trip.
Mate, I get really excited when the big edits have been in the pipeline for ages, because you forget things that happened, and then obviously it's on the videographers to encapsulate the memories and make sure they create a good viewing experience for our subscribers and everything like that. But to see it come together, even just the rough cut, sometimes we deliberately don't watch the rough cuts because you want to experience the final edit as a consumer would. We have to watch it for feedback, more so you, obviously. I chip in when I can, but that really, I was so looking forward to this one coming out. And I honestly thought, I felt really guilty at the time, because there was a period in that where fishing wasn't my priority, and obviously I'm part of Nash. We're there to catch carp, and it was. Yeah, I think I put a very lads holiday vibe to it and got carried away with the lager. Yeah,
it's funny, isn't it? I remember at the time, I think I would have said it to your face. Like, I was a bit annoyed at you at the time, because for me, you weren't taking it seriously.
Yeah.
Like, we're all trying really hard, and we weren't catching loads, especially in the to start with. And there was a lot riding on it, and I felt a lot of pressure to make something happen out of this. And I was just like, I was just taking this for a joke. But coming out in the film, I'm so glad you had your experience on that, because I thought it was such a good element to it. If we were all these carp fishing robots doing the same thing, and it'd be a bit boring, but like, I thought Brad did so well in getting everybody's like little storyline out, and your storyline was just having the best time. And at the end of the day, I think it's what our audience would like relate to most, is like going fishing to just have the best time. And you had the best time.
Exactly. And that is what fishing's about for me. You have your campaign anglers, the ones they want that one fish or two fish, and they'll do everything in their power, book their holiday around moon phases, book holidays throughout the year just to go fishing, because that's what means the world to them. And if that's what satisfies you, absolutely, I'm all for it, And for me, it's just about having a bloody good time. Like, I love going fishing with my mates. I love the socials. I love it when you can all have a barbecue together, and you can be, I say off rods, but when there's a bit more relaxation, if you've got a lake exclusive, that type of thing, and you can just live your best life, because at the end of the day, if you're going fishing and you're not enjoying it, why are you going fishing?
Yeah.
So yeah, don't get me wrong. In the side of things, there is what hangs over your head usually is that we spent all this money, all these resources. Fundamentally, the success or failure of a film most of the time relies on catching one or not. So when I was there, and I was fishing, that's the main thing. I was fishing, but I just enjoyed the slide a lot as well. I like going down the slide.
No, it was good, and like I say, America's a weird one because I personally, I don't think the film performed that well if you're looking analytically at it. But I just think I was surprised to see how many Americans watched it.
That shocked me.
It shows that there's not one or two people out there fishing. There's a lot, and they were quite active in the comments about talking about American fishing, which is cool. But I also think there's probably a lot of UK audience who look at it and go, wow, they're fishing on a boat. It's a bit gimmicky. I'm out there in America. It's not really for me. They're not big old English carp. The other thing was the size of the carp, very small. I think we actually probably caught a lot more carp than the film showed. I know Tommy had a lot more than it showed. I think I've had 7 or 8. I didn't have a load, 7 or 8. Tommy, I think, got like 10, 12, 15. But it only shows like 1 or 2 because I think by the point me and Tommy had sheeped Alan up, you've seen a lot of they're only small ones. Do you know what I mean? You'd seen Alan like smashing it with a lot of small ones. It was kind of pointless putting in a few small, continuing putting in like small ones, but it wasn't anything which was like, wow. Do you know what I mean? So
and the mad thing as well, it didn't get picked up in the film, maybe because we didn't get footage, but do you remember Tommy caught, it's 28,000 acres, this lake. Tommy caught the same carp in 24 hours.
Yeah.
And we knew because it was battered. Maybe that's why it wasn't in the film.
No, it does. That fish is in the film. It's all bent up and twisted and that. Twisted. Not the recapture of it, because he caught it again 24 hours later.
Which, just when I think about that as well, you're fishing like 60, 70 foot when it was 60, 70 foot out in the middle, and then I'm pretty sure
he was in probably 25 foot of water.
25,
30 foot.
Okay, but you're not far off depths, well over 60 foot. You're only 100 yards away from it getting really deep. 28,000 acres, the actual volume of water that you've got out there as well. It's not as if it's 3 foot deep across and just limits the acreage of water as such. And Tommy caught the same fish twice.
Yeah.
Now, in my head, that tells me they are unconditioned carp that will just eat food if it's there.
Yeah.
If there was more carp there, we would have caught them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It blows my mind, mate, and how unlikely that is. Yeah. I like me odds, and maybe that just tells you how difficult it was. And we did get the time of year wrong, didn't we?
Yeah, I mean, I spoke to Carl a lot. He's been there 2, 3, 4 times. He's experienced in the place, and I said to him, we're planning this trip. He says, you've got to go in spring. You've got to go in the spring. But we just couldn't. Like, I can't remember why now, but we just didn't have the option to go earlier in the year. And he said the carp are bigger, and I was like, October, mate, surely they've put it back on. He's like, no, trust me, once they spawn out, they say stay scatty all year. But the carp are bigger, they're in the shallows. Obviously I was surprised at how warm the water was even in October.
Yeah,
even down to like, when you go swimming and your toes, you can feel the cold water, but even in that, like 8 foot, you could feel the warmth in it. So they'd be that much happier being in deeper water, which means the locating them was that much harder. But for Carl was saying spring, the warmest water is the shallow water, makes it that much easier to locate where they're going to be. Whereas us, it was a bit harder. So yeah, the odds were against us time of year wise. But we caught carp. We had a great time. Like I say, I do think it is doable. If a big group of lads wanted to go, it's an expensive one, but a once in a lifetime trip. What wasn't that expensive was the boat.
I was going to ask, how much was the boat? Can you remember?
It was about $1,800 to $2,000 for a 6 double bed, for basically a 12-man boat.
Yeah,
it was for a week. It was about 1,500 to 1,600 quid.
That is cheap.
$2 grand top. So if you split that between 10 people at 200 quid a go, not that bad. Yes, the flights are expensive. Plus, if you got an extra bag here and a rod tube there.
But you pay a week to France, mate. You think the crossing and your bait,
the flights are
700 quid?
Nah, about $1 grand a piece, I think.
Oh, but I'm sure it's just.
But this is what I mean. If it's a big once in a lifetime jobby, and then there's other stuff like buying all the bait out there, because we shipped a lot of stuff over on a container, not achievable for
most people.
But if you were just taking the bare minimum and then going like Briggsy did to the supermarket and just getting load of corn, load of maize from a grain store and cooking it up like we did on the ship, this pack bait, which we never actually got stuck into, but
yeah,
if you did it and cast from the banks, I don't think, especially if you went in the spring, you wouldn't need that. We took boats and all sorts. Probably didn't need it if we went in the spring, just cast it from the bank like 100 meters.
Briggsy did it all off of his houseboat.
And you get a kayak on the houseboat. So if you did want to kayak out there and drop a couple of rods, like, I don't think it's unachievable. And if anyone's listening to this and thought like, I'd love to do it, look into it, you know, because it's not a 10 grand trip.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? It's an expensive one for sure. But if you did get a group of 5-10 mates and said, should we just go for an absolute mad one? It's doable.
Yeah. And the night out in Nashville as well. That's worth it.
Night out in Nashville was good. Yeah.
You enjoyed yourself, didn't you? You and Al wrestling in the bushes on the way home in the morning. So Dan was the responsible head out of the trip until that one night, and you hired the car, and it was pretty much a case of no one drives. Dan's a driver, but
I had a word with you, didn't I? We got into. We've flown out there. Alfie on the flight got battered because you're not a massive fan of flying, are you? Or is that where you get pissed or not?
No, I don't care about that. He's just bored.
Yeah, he's just bored. So he had an 8-hour flight or whatever, and he just, from the off, he's just necking beers and vodka and that. And he was battered by the time we got off. So then we arrived at night, and I'm picking up this car, and I know what all the boys are like. They're all fucking wind-ups. And we've picked up this car on the wrong side of the road, massive like truck thing. And I turned around as we were about to pull out the rental place, and I just said, for the first 10 minutes, lads, just shut the fuck up. Just do not try and like get me to nibble or go, Dan, you're in the wrong lane. Watch out for this. Because I know they'll try and wind me up. Especially you, who's the worst backseat driver, going, actually, you should be in the left-hand lane here. Just fucking leave me alone. I can't remember why I said that bit.
Because we were just talking about you being a responsible adult.
A responsible adult, yeah. So I'd hired the car, but then on the last night went out and got battered.
Yeah. So the next morning, you rolled in at like 5:30. I was with you, Mike. So me and Mike were sharing a room, and we were a sensible one. Do you know what it was as well? I'd built up a tolerance because I'd drunk every day for like 10 days.
Yeah.
Went out, enjoyed ourselves. I was like, I'm not doing because we had a split flight on the way home. It was a long journey home. So we had to fly to New York and then fly home, and then the drive home to the office, and everyone. It was you're talking like 15 hours at least. And yeah, you couldn't drive because you couldn't walk because you're still pissed. Mike had to drive.
I woke up in the morning. I just remember just being I say woke up in the morning, had like a couple hours sleep, woke up so drunk still, jumped in the shower. I was like, okay, I'll be fine. I remember just looking at myself in the mirror, just going, oh my God, I'm absolutely battered. And then didn't know what room anyone was in. So I had to go down to the front desk and said, I need to find out what room Mike Tobin's in, because Mike was sensible and didn't drink, did you? Mike's behind the... Go on.
No drinking for me, no.
Yeah, look, here's Mike.
You had a couple, didn't you?
No, he didn't drink. You might have been. I swear he didn't drink at all.
Blair forced the tequila down me.
Yeah. And then he was home by midnight, so I was like, I need to find Mike Tobin. And Mike used to be a taxi driver, so I know he's responsible behind the wheel. So yeah, managed to find him. And I just said to him, like, you've got it's 9 o'clock or like 8 o'clock, rush hour traffic. You've got to get across Nashville to drop. We hired cameras out there. To drop the cameras off.
I forgot about that bit.
See, load of organisation. No one really remembers. What did Dan do? Everything.
Well, no, you didn't. You didn't drive on the way back because you were too drunk.
And so I had to get Mike to drive us across town to drop these cameras off. But I remember, because it was me that did the booking, I had to run into the camera place, battered, going, here's your cameras. Thanks a lot. Yeah, not good. There's actually a really funny story which people rinse, but it's funny. Blair will hate me telling it because it's cringe, but we got in late. Me and Blair were sharing a room. We had 2 twin beds.
Oh.
do you know this?
Yeah, go on.
2 twin beds. We were both battered, right? I've woken up to Blair spooning me. Right, and I've just gone, but like him like getting into my bed and just like, and I've kind of woke up going, what's going on? And I look out, I go, what are you doing? He looked at me and go, what are you doing? And he's clearly just off his head, like didn't know where he was, and he just like woke up in this drunk daze, just got into my bed
and then blamed you for being in his bed.
Yeah, must have thought I was Chloe or something, didn't know where he was, just like put his arm around me. I was like, what are you doing? He's like, what are you doing? Unless he was trying it on. He might really love me. But I remember him like laughing and just rolling back into his own bed thinking, what am I doing? Like, oh yeah, that's how bad it was. And then about an hour later, I've had to get up and drive back. But anyway, whoo, lads.
Yeah, we got home safe. But
it was a great trip.
Incredible trip. And
would you go back to America and fish?
I'd love to. And I love the country, if you couldn't tell. I really, I love the culture. I love the people. I remember when we were in the Walmart and I was down the wine aisle, believe it or not, stocking up. And I ended up having a chat and I was hungover from the flight. And I remember this woman, I chatted to her for like 20 minutes. She said, wow, you're from England? What wine would you like? And then she just ran me through the wine aisle in this Walmart was like a whole side. And she just ran me through every single wine. And I just went, I'll just have 3 of them boxes, you know, the ones that said 45 glasses on, like each.
Yeah, $6.
But yeah, no, I'd 100% go back. I really loved it.
You're talking about like a general holiday to America. Would you go back and fish in America?
I'd through the experience of the houseboat. You know, I'd do all that again with the fishing.
Yeah, so do the same thing again with mates.
It was very difficult. I loved the fact that the water was warm because it wasn't cold when you jumped off the slide. It was really nice. Like the water was gloriously warm. So it's great. But that did, like we said, the carp could be anywhere instead of just the edge. So if you're going out there fishing, but the whole, you know, it is like the films. You just pull up to any random thing. You even say it in a film that they just give you one of these. Like, it's a big responsibility. I've had a couple of messages of people saying you shouldn't be drinking whilst driving a boat. Yeah. I wasn't battered when driving.
We were definitely putting it on for the film, for the driving. I remember saying to you, it's just like, you can have 2. Yeah. In 6 hours, you can have 2. So, like, there was a bit where you go, crack another one. It's like, that was your second one in, like, 6 hours worth of driving.
Yeah, so it was fine. I don't know where I was going with that, but I think the most important thing is that experience is what I like. I loved that there was fishing as well, but I also loved that we could pull up with the boys, get steaks over an open campfire. There's no one there. Skunks. Do you remember the skunks, Mike? You all thought I'd gone mental.
Yeah, I thought you gone mental.
Yeah, so by this
point... We're on an island as well, by the way, which was completely surrounded by water. It wasn't a very big island, probably 10 acres.
Oh, at most.
10 acres with a little forest in the middle.
Yeah.
So I was like, there's not going to be a skunk that lives on here, mate. How's it got here? Do you know how was it transferred onto this island? Fuck me, there was a skunk on the island.
So I'd walk back. It was late at night, and when I'm going to bed, I'm going back to my headquarters on my ship. And I walked back, and I just remember saying to her, I've just seen a white skunk. And obviously I'd had a few drinks at this point, and you thought he's got so drunk throughout the week that he's gone mental. And then you walked back to the ship, Mike, didn't you? And just went, fucking hell, there is a white skunk. And there's 2 of them as well.
Yeah, it was real.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I saw it one night. Like, I was walking, I just had like a catfish or something. I was walking back up to my bivvy, and I just see it scurrying off into the forest.
So I hadn't gone mental. But yeah, long story short, that's what meant the most to me. With the mates, you know, we all get on really well. Not just the anglers lads as well, the cameramen, Mike, the boys, like, the open, it's just freedom. I know it's a bit of a cliche with the name of the boat, but it genuinely was. It was just obscene, and you could just have the time of your life. No one's bothering you. Barbecues, beer, fishing. That's what I was born for, mate. Literally those 3 things, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a good trip. You know, it was interesting as well. You know, obviously Alan hit it off, didn't he? And I could have had more, so I didn't move up onto those. It was logistically quite difficult. Yeah, I didn't have the drive to come up because you and Tommy moved over to Alan. I was like the furthest way, and then Henry took the boat. Like, you know what I mean? But I didn't worry. But he just fucked off 2 kilometers away. I couldn't put my rods back out. I didn't have a boat unless I come up and got yours, which is a good 500, 600 yards away.
Yeah, it was a while.
But I was fine. I'd caught my 2 carp. I was in my element.
I forgot that. The last couple of days, you're kind of fishing on arms, like. Yeah,
it's like, it is what it was. Like, if I come and got your boat, but you were smashing it up, you know, like to have a window to get the boat. But I wasn't. That's besides the point. But I could have caught more, and that would have been nice. But I was enjoying it just as much seeing you boys catch as I was.
Yeah.
You know, I caught my carp, put one back, didn't I?
Yeah. First carp, and he just flopped it. It's like, it was only small. Tone was like, making a film about carp fishing. It's your first one you've caught. I don't care how big it is. Why have you? And you went, oh yeah.
And then the rod went off.
And then the rod went.
I said, I'll catch another one, Tone, and I did. Literally. Got a video of that.
But obviously, USA is such an untapped continent. Really, I know there's a lot of people who carp fish out there. There's a lot of people who've gone over there, but it's also massive. Like there's states the size of fucking Europe, let alone like the country. So like there is so much water and unknown potential out there. They're just a horrible trash fish that everyone wants to shoot and kill and bow fish and hunt and just not respected at all. But that there is also a lot of them. So if you did want to go out there, and there's a lot there, but like I don't know if it appeals to a lot of people. I don't know if it appeals to me, really.
Yeah, you mentioned that.
Yeah, I don't think it would.
Why? What's the main reason why?
Don't know. Maybe it's the carp. I've never really seen any pictures of carp out there which make me go, oh my God, like that is unreal. Whereas,
what about the big ones in Down Hollow, the 40-pound fullies?
No, don't really do it for me.
No?
Nice fish, don't get me wrong, nice fish, but not like... I think when you go somewhere and there's just a lot of the same one. If you go to somewhere and there's one fully and they're all commons and it's aged and it's dark and it's deep and it's, battered.
You're too cool and
it's not, it's just like, it's very same but different. Like there is, yes, big fullies in there, but also like, I've been there now. I've experienced it. I prefer UK fishing. I prefer Europe. Like I've been and done it. I don't think I'd invest everything to go out there and go explore USA. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, it's handy, really. Saves you a bit of money.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
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 I'd love to do it again, mate.
Yeah.
But where I was going with catching more a second ago as well, and you know what question I'm going to ask you on this. We were chatting about it in the office yesterday. You and Tommy were more than happy to go and fish with Alan because that's where the bites were coming from, and you didn't see it as any less of an achievement.
No.
It was more about the experience. Whereas Henry, he said, Henry, you haven't caught anything, mate. It's obviously getting to you.
Yeah.
Jump in here with the boys. And he's like, no.
Yeah.
Interesting. Everyone's each to their own.
Yeah.
Because I don't say it's a sense of pride. I think it's more a sense of achievement in doing it yourself. I don't think it's a pride thing. Henry wanted to go and say to himself, not to us. He didn't need to prove it to us, like it's to prove to himself that he could go away and he could find his own spots, bait his own spots. And he did it. Fair play to him. But I wouldn't mind. And you and Tommy didn't.
And the thing is, like, although we jumped in next to our, like, where I fished was still 100 yards from where Alan's dropping his rods. It's not like I was dropping on his spot.
Yeah.
Tommy was then 150, 200 yards left of him. When we say we jumped into the same area, you're fishing this expanse of water, which is massive, but it was kind of like, let's call it the north end of the island, which was fishing out into a bigger body of water rather than this channel. And then there's a couple of good features in terms of these big shallow sandbanks which were coming up. So clearly, like, the fish were there, but whether we weren't like bang on where Blair was fishing. We pitched up 50 yards either side of him. When we're fishing out, we were 100, 200 yards either side of his, maybe 100 yards, 200 yards is a push, either side of where his spot was. I know he said, look, come in here. Al said to Henry, come in here, we'll go run for run. And Henry's goes, I'm not reeling in your fish, which I get. I wouldn't want Al's rod to go and go, oh, Dan, you reel it in. I'd just be like,
fully understand that, and I agree with that. I wouldn't be comfortable doing that.
I wouldn't not be comfortable. I just wouldn't enjoy it.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? It's not like, oh, what am I doing? I'd just be like, this. It doesn't feel like fishing.
Yeah, if someone's gone out, and especially he's going out in high winds at distance, at range, locating a spot next to a rock, dropping the rig, and then you reel it in. You've done the easy bit, mate.
Yeah, he's done all the hard. Yeah. But where perhaps I would, and coming back home now, like I do fish run for run at times, especially when I go to Europe, and it's like, for me, it's a holiday trip, mate. It's nothing more than a holiday trip. Me and Loz go. Pretty much gone every year for the last 10 years somewhere, and we've pretty much always fished run for run. But what we do is whoever gets the first bite, that's their fish, and then the second bite, so say I've got the first run, my fish, it's quite a long system. But then Loz then has all the rods, and I can tell him I fished here, this spot with this much bait, etc. But he just gets all the rods. And
as in, has to reel them in and put them out himself?
Doesn't have to really, my other, typically if I was fishing with 2 rods, on a canal or something, he'd just redo the rod that I've caught fish on. And then in that evening, he might redo all 4, my 2 and his 2.
Yeah.
And then he's just fishing with 4 rods then. And I'm there just along for the ride until he catches one. And then we reset. And then maybe his rod goes next. So then it's him.
Yeah,
and then I get all 4 rods. So we just do this alternate system where...
Fairness.
Because if you go... Like, we go once a year on a trip like that. And for us, it is a holiday to try and catch some fish. ones that you don't know about, you're not targeting them. There's no like bad blood if your mate catches the big one on your rod or anything like that. We just go for a good time. And so what we don't want, especially fishing somewhere like a canal, where they all might be down the right, and it's the rod on the end which is getting all the bites, and you're just sat there watching your mate just hauling, just because he picked.
Yeah.
He got the right flip of the coin or whatever. We're a team. We're going out there for a jolly. We're going out there for a holiday. So that's when we fish run for run. So yeah. I do it, but I wouldn't just say, "Can I reel that fish in for?" You know, it's that would be a bit weird.
Yeah. No, I fully understand that, and it's weird. I can't remember how this come up, but similar to that story, guy called Christoph Kuderman, who I'm sure a lot of people will have heard of. The reason I know Christoph is because I know he's good friends with Briggsy. And I think they've got a bit of friendly competition in terms of the number of 50-pound carp, how many countries that you've caught a 50-pound carp from. And they're both massive big fish anglers, incredible anglers. And we were talking about the time, actually it was you who brought it up because I can't remember how it started, but
I think we were talking about run for runs.
Run for run.
Yeah.
And he was fishing, he come over to England in search of his big UK carp. I don't know whether it's a 50 or he's just after a big one from the UK, and he ended up on Home Fen. What a place to do it. There's loads of big ones in there. And he caught a big, like a serious big one. I don't think it was the big one. It might have been at the time.
It was a 60-pounder, definitely.
Upper 60, I think. And he caught it, landed it, went round to his mate in the swim next door, come back, and the fish had got out of the net and it was gone. First of all, ouch. Yeah. You know, like that is to
catch a 60 plus fish, or like say upper 60 from the UK, especially when you're not from the UK, you've come to do that and you've done it. To walk back and it's gone. It's
hard enough for someone who lives in the country. Do you know what I mean? He's on the right venue, of course, but yeah, to come back, oh mate, it would kill me, the thought of doing it. But then, and I checked the video, so I'm not misquoting this, but I see on a TikTok, someone later that week caught the same carp. They identified it through photos because he had footage of it in the net and footage of him landing it as well, and they could see the side, and they identified that was a carp he caught, and it came out 6 days later. And the guy who was with shared the moment with him and let him have a photo with it. Now, this is where the debate come up in the office.
Yeah.
What are people's thoughts on that? If you had a fish, retained it, put it in a net, whether it's at night time to do it in the morning, but you've lost the fish. Fundamentally, you've lost it, but you've successfully landed it. You didn't get your photo. You didn't get the moment but everyone goes for it. It's a lovely photo. But then someone else catches it. Would you ask them whether you could have a photo with it? Would you feel comfortable if they said yes? And this is why it's a really good topic and why we were chatting about it for ages.
That one's interesting because, like, firstly, what a weird scenario to catch that fish, mental. For then someone else to catch it just a few days later, to catch the same fish in the same session, is the odds. It's almost written. Do you know what I mean? It's almost like written in the stars that. But when you actually fundamentally look at that, it's like, what's the harm? What's the harm in it? Like, yes, he caught it and never got his photo. He caught it. He done it. And some people might say that's enough. Some people would. I'd absolutely want a photo of the carp I caught. I'd be gutted. I did it on the Orient. I dropped one and, you know, I lifted it up for a photo and it wriggled and went. And I was like, I'll never get that photo. I'll never be able to look back and have my memory. And it's the same for him. So, like, actually, what is the harm? What is the harm in doing it?
There's levels to this. So say it was someone.
Would you do it? That situation, are you doing it?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to sit on the fence here. I feel like if we were all fishing a lake and then you caught it, my pal, and you said, come and have a photo, I think I would. I think where it gets a little bit tetchy is imagine you didn't know the bloke or he hadn't offered. I think in that instance, the bloke had said, look.
They're mates.
Oh, they were friends.
Yeah,
right, okay.
Friends.
So he's friends, so he'd offered him, come and join the moment, you can have a photo. But imagine you heard it come out. You don't know the bloke. You're not that pally with him.
Excuse me, mate, can I have a photo of that fish?
Exactly that. Excuse me, now it's their moment.
I caught it, honestly.
Do you know what I mean?
Honestly, I caught it.
You'd think, fuck off, mate, first of all, wouldn't you? Like, you're off your head. But there's levels to it. If you can actually know that it happened, the person who's caught it the second time, it depends on them as an individual because you've got to essentially offer your achievement. It's your moment. Dean and Will were in the office and just saying, no, like, it's your fuck up. Like, what on earth are you doing? You're mental. But then I'm trying to put myself in that position. And like I say, if you caught a 60, 70 pounder and I didn't have a photo, mate, I'd be right around there having photos.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I think if I'd caught it the second time, let's say it was you and me, you've lost it, I've caught it. If I'd caught it the second time, I would say to you, Alf, have a photo of this. I'd almost force it on you because you're my pal and I'm comfortable. I was like, I'd almost force it on you. If it was the other way round and I'm the one who's got to ask, I think I'd just leave it as, can I jump in a photo with you? You hold it up, let me have a photo with you and the fish, hold its dorsal up and that. And so I've got my photo with the fish, but it almost encapsulates the moment better or the story better, because when you say, look, I caught this one, and they'll go, well, why is he holding it? It's a funny story, actually. And it encapsulates the story better, but like, you've got your photo with the fish, with the man who's also caught it. I don't know, I'd leave it at that. Yeah. I think that's, if I'd caught it and needed my photo with it, I think that's how I'd broach it. Yeah. I reckon. But I've heard of another one similar just recently, actually. I was chatting to a mate, and I might hash this story a little bit, but it is similar. It was on Stoneacres, and I can't remember anyone's names from this story, but apparently on Stoneacres, this one lad, he didn't fish loads, but he'd been ticking them off, and he was after the big un, caught the big un. I can't remember the name of it now. Something linear, wasn't it? Something Lynn. Kev's Lynn, I think it is. Kev's Lynn. He caught it, and everyone come round as you do on those big carp syndicates, and shared the moment with him, middle of the night or like 2-3 a.m. Weighed it, confirmed it, everyone saw it. Or it must have been like an hour before first light, 'cause he slipped it in a retainer. Everyone was went back to their swims to come and then do the photos in the morning. It got out, it gone, he'd lost it. Heartbreak, especially with someone who, you know, I don't think he had a lot of time, and he'd finally done it and then he'd lost it. And then again, might hash the story. A few weeks later, it came out. Matey was fishing. Everyone went round and they said to him, have a photo with it, have a photo with it. And apparently he lifted it up and he was a bit confused, like, oh, this feels a bit wrong. But as soon as he got it up and he looked at that camera, he was like, yeah. But then, like, if you look at it, you know, each to their own. If you actually look at it, he caught it. He did catch it. Whether he had the photo right there and then, does it matter? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird one. Yeah, it is. It's very weird.
I've heard of another one. Again, I don't know how true it is, because you just hear these like carp stories about 3 lads who are fishing Salagoo as a team, and they'd go down and they'd bait up together the same area, but someone might go on the Monday, someone might go on the Wednesday, someone might do the Saturday. They'd fish as a team. Sometimes 2 of them would fish, sometimes 1, sometimes all 3, but they devised a plan. They set their rods as a team. They almost like match fishing. They did everything as a team. And finally, after God knows how many kilos of bait and bait up session, one of them's had the big one from Salagoo. And then all 3 had their own photos with it, because it was done as a team. So even though 2 of them didn't place that rod on that day, on that spot, or reel it in, they all had a photo with it, because they...
So it wasn't a group photo?
It wasn't a group photo. They all had their individual photos with the fish, and they all posted their individual photos of the fish. And they said, well, I helped pre-bait too. I fished my areas to help cover all bases, and it was just that rod that went. So it's just as much my capture is. We did it as a team. That for me feels weird.
That I'm on the other side of the fence with that one.
Yeah.
That's each to their own, you know, like if you're mates, whose business is it for us to say what you can and can't do?
But if you were in that situation,
yeah, like,
I couldn't have a photo with that fish, man.
No.
I'd jump in
group photo with your mate who's caught it.
I wouldn't go, right, my turn. Yeah. I baited up too, mate, my turn.
Yeah. And there's a fine line by having separate photos in a group photo, 2 different things. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If we had a separate photo, that's, in my opinion, I couldn't do it.
And sent it off to their sponsors, and it got posted, like all of that. Now, again, it's a secondhand story that someone had told me, so I don't know how exactly true it is, but that's how I've heard it. And if it is true and there was that situation, I don't know. Not for me, that one.
Yeah. Well, it's good talking points, and it's good to like.
And let us know what you think, like in the comments and that. Like, where do you stand on it? Oh, like if you haven't caught that fish, would you have a photo of it? I mean, as in you'd caught it, not got a photo. Well, you know. Would you have your photo with
those
it?
Situations.
Or is that just wrong?
Yeah.
Wrong.
I'll be interested to know, because it's created good debate. Yeah, moving on, in other news, what's been happening at Nash? I got out, did a little bit of product filming last week. We have so we've had one scope launch, which was the vast majority of rods. Obviously, they've been staggered coming into stock. We had a small drop of scope ops rods, scope rods, there'll be in a few retailers and all the luggage. Pleased to say we got more scopes coming your way. The most important thing, and personally, I'm telling you all this, you stop sending us questions. The scope brolly is due to land in November this year.
Yeah, so that's been the biggest thing.
Subject to any issues, before you quote me, there's storms, there's a god, and he, you know, there could be a virus.
Yeah, we might quality control it and decide the production's fuck something up and we have to send it back and start again. But yeah, it's been confirmed. We're happy with it. It's been ordered. It's been tested. It's on the sea. Well, maybe not yet, but it's on. It will be on its way, and it's due to launch end of November.
Yes.
But like Alf says, a lot can change. But it always does.
Yeah, so we're doing our absolute best, obviously.
It's probably been the most frequent comment in the last couple of months, isn't it?
The thing was the shows.
Yeah.
It was the star of the show, the scope brolly. Because we always originally stuck to our guns of, you've got a Titan hide now. And I remember Kev being very passionate about, like, why would you have a brolly when you've got a bivvy that goes up in the time of a brolly? And I'd agree with him in the sense of, will I use that brolly over my hide? Not me personally. I've never seen so much interest in that brolly. It looks the tits. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
If you're a carpy little bugger and you like looking the part, it is quality. It's the first time I actually slept under it the other day when we were doing the filming and that. And I was like, yeah, look at me, I'm carpy. You know?
I really like a brolly. I hated when we discontinued the groundhog and brought the hide in. I like being out in the open. I like being able to sit on my bed chair and having that full window, do you know what I mean? And just being able to look and sit and watch the water and see everything and not be like hidden away, especially in the summer, spring and summer. And there's also times where I'd usually sleep under the stars, but I'm on like a public footpath, so I don't really trust it. You know, people potentially walking past in the night and hovering over my sleeping body. So I like to have a shelter in, but just something easy that I can just chuck on my barra. It's super lightweight and you can just pop it up and cover. Don't get me wrong. If the wind swings and the rain comes, you get wet. It's a brolly. You do it in all of them. But I think for the most part, I'd prefer to fish under a brolly just because I can sit and see the water better. And
yeah, another thing as well is the Quiver. I've never used the Quiver. Obviously, very familiar with them, but I've never been a Quiver angler. I've been a single sleeves or a free rod sleeve. That's could have turned my head. That.
Oh yeah, so that's one of the new products coming out in November.
Sorry,
the Quiver. Yeah.
Should have made that clear. We've also got a scope Quiver coming out. And a few other scope rucksacks. I say slightly less premium, still quality rucksack, but not in that super.
It's essentially quality. Where the dwarf range was. It's now, because we've got 3 ranges in scope. There's scope, which essentially is superseding the dwarf range. We've got scope ops, is what people will recognise as what scope was, and then we've got the black ops ones, which are still in the range, which are like the top of the range. Yeah. So this is a scope quiver, isn't it? So
scope quiver and a couple of rucksacks and things like that. So smaller drop with a few really decent bits of kit. You know, it's nothing like revolutionary, but they're really decent. And that quiver, mate, the brolly, you can put it on the outside or the inside. The inside's more for your retainer slings and wet nets because it's like a sealed sort of padded inside. Mate, I can't believe that you can stand there with your little finger and hold a brolly, 3 rods, 3 reels, all your nets and all your mats and slings inside it.
Mats?
Sling mat. Although it won't be inside it, I suppose you could attach it, but your nets and slings.
Right.
And there's also a sling mat, which again is super lightweight.
Well, and clips onto the quiver as well?
It doesn't clip onto the quiver as far as I'm aware, but you could get it in there. You could stuff it in there.
Really? Yeah.
Yeah, if you wanted to. But yeah, so basically,
all in one unit,
I was pretty impressed is what I'm trying
to say.
Yeah, that's
cool. I've actually not seen that quiver yet.
Yeah. But just because of the speed, like how much gear you've got in such a small space for your mobile anglers, impressive, mate. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's cool.
So yeah, they'll be out around November time. Or is that just the scope brolly, or is it the whole?
No, all of it should be November time, but I'm sure you'll be updated more publicly. Absolutely. When it's kind of like ready to come in stock.
Cool. What next, Dan?
Agony Alfs.
Oh yeah.
I've had a few build up while I've been away, but I've not really been on my Instagram that much. It's not been my highest priority when coming back to work. I had a mountain of work to do, so scrolling through Agony Alfs was not right up there. But I pulled a few out. If you'd like to give some people your wisdom.
Oh, I'll do my best.
I've actually had the first thing is I had a reply off the last one. The last one I did, so weeks ago now, and it was from memory. It was a gentleman who said there was a female bailiff who'd taken a bit of a liking to him and was giving him free fishing, and he didn't know whether to actually tell his wife that look, there's this female bailiff. She takes a liking to me, but I'm getting free fishing, love. I'm not doing anything, or to just say, look, I've got a wife, back off, bitch, and sacrifice your free fishing. And can you remember what our advice was? I was going to look this morning, but
I'm pretty sure we said,
tell the wife.
Yeah, you're playing a dangerous game. Just be honest about it.
You're not doing anything wrong. There's nothing to hide. Like, just tell your wife. He replied. I checked the podcast email, and he replied to say, thank you for the mention on the podcast, and thanks for the advice, lads. I told my wife, yeah, she wasn't best pleased. He put in brackets, this isn't my view, he put in brackets, as all women. She wasn't best pleased. She got ahead of herself and moved out a couple of days with the kids, thinking the worst. But I managed to sway her with a little bit of charm, and we're happy again. Thanks for your help.
Oh my god, so, that sounded pretty bad. That's got to be a wind up. Yeah, surely
I can't. Surely that's not real.
Yeah,
surely he's just having, like, you know, playing along with it, because if we've offered the advice of be honest, tell you, and we found him a divorce, I'd be really guilty. Yes, just because you don't always like you. Because you're not really in touch with it. It's just words on a screen. An email comes in and someone's saying, this has happened. And you go, yeah, mate, just tell your wife. And that could have affected his whole life.
We're going to need a disclaimer at this, right?
She got ahead of herself, moved out a couple of days with the kids, thinking the worst. Don't worry, I'll sort it out with a bit of charm. So
I'm glad it all worked out, mate.
Glad it all worked out. And I'm guessing, like, you could have had no free fishing and no wife. So would have been the worst advice ever. So hopefully, Alf, this one's a bit better.
Okay.
All right. So this first guy, he's actually got 2 questions. So I have a couple of questions for Ask Alfie. It's actually Agony Alf.
We'll let him off.
Yeah. So I have a couple of questions for Agony Alf, because I'm greedy and, you know, don't ask, don't get, and all that. First, the important big fan stuff. I really like the podcast. I didn't write this.
Yeah.
I really like the podcast. I do a lot of driving, so it's meant to get something of a fishing fix while blasting down the A6 in the rain to talk to someone about their IT challenges. We can't all be rock stars, but we play the cards we've been dealt. I thought Al was brilliant on it this week, so this was coming just after the last one I did about the Nash bait announcement. I thought Al was brilliant on it this week. Raw, genuine, heartfelt, but informative. Anyone who is moaning, trolling, or kicking off has no idea about business, empathy, or foresight to say, we had a good run, we had some good fish, but thanks for the memories, you beautiful boilie. On to the next one.
I'm liking this guy.
Yeah. What does he want?
Yeah.
Anyway, you're a busy team. You don't need to hear my waffle about fanboying the life out of your inbox. My questions in order of priority, as the show is only an hour long. These are quite long ones. 1, no publicity waters. How the sweet mother Hubbard are you supposed to find a water which prides itself on being no publicity? That's the type of fishing I want. I don't need well-beaten whales. I want peace with no BOTB, bells on the bank. Fish well looked after and in good nick, green trees and lilies type water. If Monet painted a carp lake, that's the sort of thing I'm after. My problem is finding the bloody things. I'm a member of a couple of clubs I'm a member of a couple of clubs. I'm on a syndicate in Cheshire, and I'm very chatty in the local angling stores. But getting information is like trying to kick the guards to tell a knock joke. I mean, I get it. How is the private meant to stay private? But how do these people find the waters? When I started looking about a year ago, I never expected it to be all rainbows and reach arounds, but but not this hard. So my question is, how do you suggest going about finding these private, non-publicity waters?
Now that is a tough one, and without stating the obvious, the clue is in the name, the non-publicity. If I'm being deadly serious, I can think of one. Can you think of any?
What, non-publicity?
Non-publicity.
I can think of a couple, yeah.
Yeah, but considering I could probably name 100 fisheries in the UK,
yeah.
and one of them is non-publicity. So this is hard.
Yeah,
this is a difficult challenge. All I can think of in this regard is, how did I find out about that one? Through a friend of a friend of a friend. It's networking, isn't it?
Well, have you got a ticket for it? No,
I don't have a ticket for it. I don't think, like, I think I can say the name. The Grange. Is it one of them? Like, you can't, one of those Grange waters, you can't Or the light? No, I'm sure it's owned by the same guy.
Yeah.
Do you know Lighthouse or something? Why is that coming to my?
I have no idea. The Lighthouse.
I've got mental, not a Lighthouse family. There's one of those in Essex where I remember Mike Wilson is what I'm thinking of.
Yeah.
But it didn't really benefit when he was working at Nash because we sort of need your captures, mate. You're a consultant, and it was non-publicity. I might be mistaken. The people who know what I'm talking about probably think I'm an idiot now.
Yeah.
But you get the idea. That's the one that's at the top of my head. You just got to get in there. You got to start getting in the tackle shop and befriend a few people.
But he's done that for a year.
Well, you got to start talking to more people. You got to become that guy. It depends what you want more. If you really, really want to find the place like this, you've got a balance between being an annoying bastard and talking to everyone, and then creating a relationship with someone where you do know. And because a lot of the time, if they're non-publicity, you got to be recommended as well.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure you've got a difficult task ahead of you, mate. That is a tough one.
Yeah, I think I agree. I know of a couple. There's a couple around me which I'd love to have a ticket on. I've got no chance. I've got zero chance. One, because of where I work. And two, because I just don't know anyone who fishes them. I need someone to recommend me. And I think maybe if you're in the industry or if you're in the know, or it's a bit easier to tap people up. But obviously, as you've said, don't ask, you don't get. Finding the water first, because I know about these waters. I've, just from chatting for anglers, I've heard about these waters. And then maybe you just need to be brazen and, go. I know people have left notes on the gate, left an envelope on the gate saying, here's my contact details. I'd love to know more, blah, blah, blah.
£50 note in it.
But even then, just take the £50 note and rip the letter up. But, finding them, I guess, is one thing. And then actually getting in is another. And I think it's super hard. And I think the only way really is knowing someone on one of these waters who can recommend you. But yeah, I don't, even with a year's worth of looking, I don't think it's one of those where it's just going to fall on your lap because you're looking. So yeah, it's really shit advice, but just keep doing what you're doing. Talk to people, put the feelers out there.
You need the stars to align and you bump into the right person.
Yeah.
Sometimes, we work in the trade. We have more contacts than normal because of just our connections with tackle shops, fisheries, and I can think of one that might not even be a real place. I might have dreamt it by the sounds of things. So,
I think my best advice then for you is why do you want it?
Yeah.
Why do you want it?
Mm-hmm.
And it's because you want quiet banks. You want not many people fishing.
Picturesque.
You want it to be picturesque. I think you can find those in fisheries that aren't these secret, expensive, non-publicity. For example, and you've also stated you don't want massive fish, world-beating whales. You don't want it.
That makes it easier, a lot easier.
Have a look at the rivers around you. Have a look at the canals around you. Typically, they are beautiful. They are, you drive out into the countryside on a river and there is miles and miles and miles of untouched bank where you won't see another angler. And if you look hard enough and you do your research, there's carp there. You can find stretches where there is, good fishing to be had.
That's much better advice. Good work. Well done, Agony Dan.
You can find it, but it just doesn't have to be on that behind closed gates. You can go out and find it. And I've known of club lakes where there's that secret forgotten. You've got to go out and find it yourself. There's that secret forgotten lake which no one actually really fishes. The odd bloke might go down because it's good for tench fishing or whatever.
I tell you who's good at that, Will. So Will, our social media manager, and works in the office here. He goes on these club waters where you get about 1,000,001 lakes on this club, and he will find the one that has got the least people on, and it will be a gem, and there's no one fishing it because there's no 30-pounder in there.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And he has the time of his life, and I respect that.
Yeah. I've got a mate who, I won't say too much because he said don't tell anyone. He went and found a bit of canal last week, which he'd actually started seeing a new girl who lived near it. It's about an hour's drive from here. So he thought, when I go down to see her, on the way back, I'll stop and do a night at this canal. Free fishing. Didn't really know anything about it. Managed to find a photo of a carp. Second night in it, he had a 33-pound mirror.
Yeah, that's insane.
Which was ridiculous.
Black on it.
Yeah, and it was miles and miles and miles of canal. They're there to be had. He didn't see another angler. It was picturesque, quiet as anything. The odd dog walker going by. And he's had one of the best carp he'll ever catch.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So you can find what you're looking for without looking for this non-publicity element.
There you go.
But next question from the same guy.
He's getting a lot of love, isn't he?
Again, I haven't written this one. He's just a good consumer. I've fully bought into the big scope push that the big push you've been doing on the scope range. Just on the cusp of buying a mobile bundle of kit. A separate set of gear which I can just bundle into the passenger seat of a car and get to my peg in one trip with no barrow. IT, although boring, pays well until AI takes all the jobs. Scope range looks perfect, and I'm about to buy 3 of the 9-footers, probably in £3.5 test curve. So I'm after a net, a sling, a bag, and a mat, etc. It'd be great if you could buy bundles, but not seeing that anywhere. Sorry, we don't do them. What would be the kit list you would actually on that? Any retailers listening to this, make yourself a scope bundle. This guy wants one. What would be the kit list you would suggest for such a requirement that I can take to a decent retailer and get sorted? Yes, it's a lazy question. Yes, it may be overkill to get a second set of everything, but, well, there is no but it is what it is.
So it was after?
Anyway, like I said, big fan of all things Nash and the podcast. Big love. Many thanks, Mark. Thank you, Mark. Couple of great questions there. So basically he's after a bundle. If you were just doing like morning sessions, afternoon sessions, or just a light set of kit, what is your go-to out the new scope range to put into that kit?
I was going to say,
it sounds like I've written this as an absolute product push, but I swear to you, I haven't.
Yeah, you're pleasing our shareholders right now, Dan. If they're listening. No, I'm joking. So he wanted a sling.
So he's got 3 rods.
So he's got his scope rods. He's travelling lightweight, perfect. 3 scope rods, job done. Obviously, don't need to cast that far. You know, you do to 100 yards. Sling.
Yeah.
Couple of options. We've got the inflatable mat, which, again, and there's videos. So I think they're published now, actually. Bit of confusion around the inflatable mats. That they think they're like hard wall air cradles, you know, that like you open the nozzle because they're self-inflating.
Yeah.
And people think they just like, you know, like a boat. They just draw in air slowly, but when you open the nozzle and you roll them up, it just means air can escape. So they pack down super lightweight. There's a standard and an XL. Really, really good bits of kit. And then also the sling mat that's coming out. If you want a sling mat, because you can fit loads of other stuff in it.
Yeah, that's what I'd say.
You can fly it over your shoulder.
The sling mat that's coming out, you can put
3 rods of netting.
Yeah. And just pop it on your shoulder. It's got like a carry shoulder, so you can just sling it on your shoulder.
And that's a cheaper option as well. So, you know, best of both worlds there. Net-wise, nothing new net-wise from us. It's hard to reinvent a net.
We've actually got a really cool net coming out.
I'd stand corrected.
Yeah.
Have you
not seen it?
No.
So the new scope net, it wasn't quite ready, and we didn't want to just put it out for the sake of it, but it's coming in the spring, and it's got some really unique features for a net, which I don't think I can say because they're really unique. But
okay.
Really, really cool. But it's not out yet. So
Nets them for you. Don't even have to pick it up.
Yeah. Basically a genie comes out of lamp. Yeah.
Net-wise, scope nets, scope black up nets, both in the range. Great bit of kit. I haven't used any other net for the past 8-9 years.
Yeah.
Scope net, because it retracts. Why wouldn't you use a retracting landing net? In my head,
same product, just easier to transport.
Just easier to transport. Fantastic bit of kit. Scope net, and if you want one that's even smaller, scope black ops net.
Yeah,
it's pricey.
Yeah, they are expensive.
They're expensive.
They do.
You, mate.
They do.
You're in IT. Sounds like you earn a lot.
Yeah, they do go down real small though. So again, if you're really traveling light and you're slinging it inside that sling mat, that works.
Slings? Did you say sling? That's the last one, wasn't it?
Rucksack or bag or
rucksack. Loads of options again. New range, some in the scope level. You got an XL, which is massive, which probably you won't need, judging by what you've described. But the standard one, which I think is 55 litre, you get loads in that as well.
Yeah, I don't think it's quite 55. I think it's a bit smaller, maybe 30.
35.
Yeah, but it's a very small rucksack. That scope, the new Scope Recon one.
I'm not about the new scope, not Scope Ops. You've got Scope Ops Recon.
Yeah.
There's loads of choice. You need to look at Scope Ops Recon, which are already out. And then in November, if you're willing to wait, there's a Scope one. But it's what you need to. That I can't call that for you. You need to look at the pockets and the configuration and what you think you can put where.
From what I haven't seen this new one, but the Scope Ops Recon, they're in 2 sizes. One's a bit bigger than the current one. Or now the discontinued one. One's a bit smaller, so it's actually quite a small, compact rucksack. So that's what I've got for my fishing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we also do these expansion packs. So if you did ever want to then go on a longer session or use it for your other sort of your weekend fishing, you can have all your additional. I actually have a little brew kit in there, so I can have all my tackle on my bag, and then I can just clip
expansion pack.
The expansion pack on the top. If I'm going to stay and have a brew in the morning or whatever, you can just clip that on. So that's what I'd say for the bag option. So then, yeah, you've got, and then, yeah, if you did want to expand that too, so that essentially you'd have a bag on your back, and then a sling mat, which has your unhooking mat, your rods, and a net.
Sling.
What else do you need?
We do inflatable slings
and then
as well.
Inflatable sling.
Yeah.
We do these inflatable slings, which can go in that as well. So, yeah, you've still got one and free. So if you did want to then go for a night and go real non-barrow, we do a 4-fold sleep system, which you can sling over your shoulder as well. And the brolly, if you did then get like a quiver, you could have all your rods and nets and mats and whatnot in the quiver. So you'd have a quiver on one side, bed on another side, bag on your back, everything you need for a night.
Yeah, that genuinely is as well.
Yeah,
that's
genuinely.
One shoulder each and
then if you were going for a weekend, get your barrow out, mate.
Yeah. There we go.
Cool. Sorry, that was a long one.
Yeah.
Mark, well done. Thank
Cheers,
you. This one, second one, is a bit more tactical as well. Dear Agony Alf, so I'm moving to Cornwall in August. Sorry, we've missed you. These are quite old. So August has gone. I hope the move went well. I was born in Cornwall. Lovely part of the country, that.
Go on the pasties.
And I've joined a syndicate water in Penryn. It's 38 acres and holds about 50 to 60 fish. There's 2 swims and the rest is natural trees and foliage, so carving out a swim is going to be standard practice. It's not heavily fished water, but has a very high stock of tench. I just want to know how you guys approach a water like this. Any tips would be greatly appreciated. Many thanks, Paddy.
Ooh, Paddy. Well, first of all, fair play, mate. You've committed to a challenge. You've got a big task ahead of you. Mm-hmm. But exciting rewards, you know. If you're fishing a lake of that size, with that low stock, with a reasonable amount of nuisance fishing, and you have to make your swims, good and bad points to both. First of all, it sounds like people don't fish it, like you said. That means you can get something going. So you aren't competing with other anglers, which a lot of modern day carping is competing with. Who saw the carp first to move on it before the other person does? You haven't got to worry about that. Then you think pre-baiting. You can invest a lot of money into pre-baiting, which I strongly advise, but then another angler could be there when you turn up on your spot. So you haven't got those to worry about with. So pre-baiting is going to be your best friend.
Well, it is a club lake,
but
it's a syndicate, so other people will fish it, but I think you're right. It's not going to be super busy.
Yeah, and if you're creating your own swims, hopefully there's a bit of a gentleman's agreement. If you go and chop out a swim and spend a day and a half doing it, and just for Dave to turn up and go in there, punch Dave. That's my first bit of advice. So yeah, my advice would be still look for a mate. Before you commit to what swim you're going to choose, find out about the lake, the topography. Everything about it. The depths, any features you think they're likely to be around, where the shallow water is, where the deeper water is, so you can plan your movements or an area. What time of year you're fishing it. Ideally, shallow water in the spring, summertime potentially. And then as it starts to cool down, deeper water potentially, there's more options, etc. So build up a picture in your head where I think is going to be the best place to start. Cut out that swim, and then my advice would be start pre-baiting. The tench are a problem. Fortunately enough, I've sat in front of an underwater camera for, was it a week or was it 2 weeks? Sort of 2 weeks, a week and a half.
Yeah, 2 weeks-ish.
So I sat in front of an underwater camera for a week and a half with a lot of tench. And the surprising thing was, the fishery owners thought there was no tench in there, and they couldn't have been further from that. There was dozens. So it shows you, A, how much they get away with it, which is a good thing, but B, those who are using bigger hook baits ultimately delayed the tench. There was the odd one that got very, very lucky. Anything more than a 20mm boilie was very, very difficult for them. And I can confirm as well, tiger nuts, they are less likely to eat, from what I've seen. So I'd go big.
I've found that quite water dependent, the tiger nut thing.
Yeah, I've heard mixed opinions, but from the week and a half that I spent on Bramblemere, they left the tigers alone, mate. It was literally, they'd eat every pellet, every 12, 15mm boil. They couldn't fit the 20mm in their mouth.
Yeah.
Tigers were left, so.
Yeah. I think 20mm over, underrated as well.
Yeah,
I get the feeling like people go, "Oh, it's a bit big." Even 24s, like, "Oh, it's a bit big." It's 24s. I think the same. I'm a bit like, I know I should use them more, but I know they look good for it. But 20mm certainly, I think they get overlooked, but certainly can slow down the tench and bream if they're not too big. It certainly can slow them down.
And you just got to be on it, mate. You have to appreciate the size of the task that you've given yourself. Don't underestimate it. If you see them, the most important bit of information you have.
Yeah.
A show is like...
Or hear them at this time. You're going into
Good
this
point.
autumn now, or hear them. Like, it's not... spring is so good because I love getting up at first light and watching them, and the summer, but it's now... From now, I find that it's not all about that first light shows. Again, it's really water dependent, but typically over the last 10 years I've fished low stock lakes, I found it's not all about that first light show at this time of year. Sometimes like mid-morning is quite good, but typically in the hours of darkness going into...
Flopping.
Yeah, just listening to it. I'll put it out there, I'm crap at it. I am crap at staying up at night into like midnight and sitting and listening. It's really good, but I'm so bad at it. I'm really good for a first light, but I'm crap at it. But if you can put the effort into sit up, not to say you won't see him at first light, I'll say that's what I tend to do, but definitely, essentially what you're saying is location is so important on a lake like that. So important.
100%.
And to be honest, I think you can beat a lot of anglers just for effort in terms of sightings. If you do throughout the year set your alarm nice and early, and I'm not talking about an hour after first light. I'm talking about you're up and kettle on in the dark, and 10 minutes, by the time your coffee's done, it's getting light and you're watching. If you really commit to that, trust me, you'll see so much more than anyone else. And then that's when you start. But I think your advice is perfect, I reckon. Going into this period, get some bait going in a couple of spots.
Yeah. As
you're starting to explore the lake, don't expect to catch them straight away, but like just get a bit of bait and see how autumn goes.
Yeah, and stick with it, I'd say. You're a braver man than me.
Sounds like a great leg.
Yeah, it's for you, Dan.
If you do listen to it, listen to the podcast and our advice, send us some pictures of the carp from the lake, because you don't really hear much about Cornwall.
No, when I think Cornwall, I think Todborough Manor.
Because trust me,
that might be Devon.
I'm not going to come jump on it. It's a 6-hour drive. But yeah, send me some pictures. I'd be interested to see it. Nice.
Cool.
What's your... Yeah, what so I think we're about to wrap up, but I haven't really spoke to you in a bit about what's your plan now? What are you doing?
I'm gonna go.
Not right now, but like we're on the cusp now. Early September, we're changing from summer to autumn. What's your plans in fishing for the next few weeks?
Yeah, I've had an absolute nightmare. I dropped a lot of money on a syndicate ticket.
So shit.
And I'd like to say it's because I've been busy, and it has to some degree. But there's a lot of times when I've just gone to the football instead.
Lazy.
Had a beer. I'm going to get down the syndicate. Next week.
I'd love to see you down that syndicate. I'd genuinely make me so happy. I'd live my fishing at the moment while I've got a young baby through you. Yeah,
there's times because at weekends, you can't get booked on.
Yeah.
A lot of the time. Or like, you'd have to book 2-3 weeks in advance. There was my fishing to midweek. I'm fortunate enough that when work is quiet enough, I can sit there with a laptop. I can jump on calls, etc. It hasn't been like that the past month, definitely. So the past month's been a nightmare. I'm going to go next week.
What about just doing a midweek night, or are you just not the one? You don't sleep very well, though, do you?
Well, yeah, it's not so much that. It's more like from work, if I'm in the office as well, things like that, it's a long way. It's like 2.5 hours from here to the lake.
Yeah, but I'm essentially your boss. I don't mind if you chip off at 3 and then start at 10 and make your hours up, mate. It's fine.
Yeah, look at me, I'm making excuses. But I like it when I can... I love it when you like you've got that time, without something. Guilt. That's the worst thing. I get so anxious if I'm sitting there and I can't do something that I need 2 screens for or something.
The other thing with your ticket is like, for where I fish, I'm good for sticking a bit of bait in over the course of a couple of weeks. Not a lot, just keep it going and keep it going in. And so when I go down for my night, if I don't see anything, I've got a bit of bait to drop onto, whereas you cannot do that on that place.
No chance, mate.
Absolutely no chance.
You've got 50 members paying close to $2,000 a ticket. They are down there a lot.
Yeah.
And hence the reason why you can't go on the weekends, you have to book on.
So what's your plan for fishing?
I'm going next week, but then I'll go on holiday for a week and then I'll go again.
Yeah.
And I've got a stag do.
So but like into the autumn, will you just plug away here and there, a bit of pleasure fishing, and that'll be that?
Yeah. I think I've made a mistake for the fact that I don't get enough time to warrant that level of money. Do you know what I mean? I'm very impulsive. I bought it. I loved the fishing. I did a little bit on the winter ticket that went into the summer ticket or the fall ticket. And then, I just need to... I like flitting about, mate. I like flitting about and getting a bite.
Do you know what I think you should do next year? Is invest your time into day ticket fishing.
Yeah, or that, to be fair.
I think you
I
should.
love Royston, mate.
Yeah, and I think there is so many good carp to be caught on day tickets, and you're happy to drive anyway. You're happy to do a 2-hour drive for a weekend's fishing. I know you are.
Yeah.
But I think you should invest. You've paid fucking silly money.
Yeah, mate, absolutely.
What's £1,700? £2,000.
1,700 quid.
£1,700 into a ticket. Imagine if you put that on day tickets.
I couldn't.
You couldn't.
I
And that's what I mean. So because day ticket fishing ain't cheap, but why don't you just invest that into going and fishing Bluebell or Sandhurst or Thorny Weir?
Thorny Weir's always been on my list.
Yeah.
Brexit,
Because there's some incredible carp to be caught, and everyone's a fresh challenge. And really, you're going to get swims. It's not going to be busier than your syndicate now, where you cannot get in on a weekend. Like, if you get there on a Friday evening, yes, it'll be busy, but you'll get somewhere. Like, I think you should do that,
mate. I feel awful. Do you know what I mean? When I think of myself, it doesn't help. It motivates me to go as well, because I've spent money. That's a lot of money, man. That was savings.
It's actually stupid.
Yeah,
it's actually a stupid amount of money.
It's cost me 1,700 quid for 18 hours fishing. So far.
Mate, that's disgusting.
So I'll be on it, mate.
I think that's a good tactic, mate.
I have to. Do you know what it is as well? I got the winter ticket before I got the fall ticket. I went loads.
Yeah, I remember.
I went so much, and do you know why?
Because it was quiet.
It was quiet.
Yeah,
it was quiet, and that's another thing that's putting me off. Is just I hate when I can't get on the fish.
Yeah.
And sometimes you just got to go, because I've given advice on this. You got to deal with it, mate. Everyone likes fishing. They all want to fish for big fish. Fish the best you can. There's always, especially this time of year, they can be up and down 11 acres in 5 minutes. You know what I mean? If that. So, yeah. What about you? Are you going to get any time?
I'd like to think so, yeah. Actually, she uttered the sacred words the other day, because it's going quite well. She said to me the other day, she goes, do you know what? I don't think it's going to be that long till you're probably right to go out and do a bit. And I was just like, can we have an exact time frame on that, so I can start, prepping some areas or something. But I've had my carpy little fix anyway, because I live close to my syndicate lake. I can walk the dogs around every morning anyway.
Baby, you want one of them things that bounces up?
I went down the first time the other day with my missus walking the dogs, and I had the carrier on, but yeah, won't be long until we're stood out there, first light, cup of coffee. Well, ideally she can open her eyes and watch the water with me. But did you see that one?
There you go, Dad.
Fucking asleep, lazy little. Yeah, I've had my fix out chatting to the guys down there. Went and did photos of one of the big ones the other day. Super big bars. Like, love that part of being a good photographer. I get the call, and it was really nice to see. The angler super happy with it. Me to see the fish. I actually said to my mate, not a couple of weeks before, I was like, I don't want to do photos of my target fish. I don't want to do them. First time I want to actually see them in the flesh is when I've caught them.
Oh, you are carving, yeah.
But it just made me, I don't know, it made me so much more excited the first time seeing it. It's like no one else has seen it, kind of thing. But then, a couple of weeks later, he's caught it. So I went down, and I remember I got it out of the water for him, because it's quite steep banks. You need a couple of people to get it up. And I remember being stood with holding the retainer while everyone was getting ready, thinking, it's here. It's actually right here. Like, all the times I've been down and I've never seen this one in the water. All the times I've looked for it or I've fished, I've gone, has it eaten my bait? Has it been on my pre-bait while I've not been here? Has it been on my spot while I've been here? Has it had my rig in its mouth and spat me out? Has it swam past under my rod tips and I've just been under the... Now it was here. Yeah. And I was literally holding it. I was so excited to see it. And it was mega. So yeah, I got my buzz through that. But I reckon it won't be long till I'm doing the odd night once a week, once every couple of weeks. Like I say, she's getting on really well. I'll do a bit of a test night soon, but I'll probably end up just baiting an area or a couple of areas, and so I've got somewhere to drop onto. It is pissing in the wind a little bit. But I like to get out. So it'd be nice just to get out and get my little fix. And
can't catch them at home.
No, exactly. And just get back into it. If I manage to nick one this autumn, I'll be well happy. But it's a big ask. But yeah, I reckon, a couple of weeks maybe. I've actually got my first night away in 3 weeks. We're doing a social with AD. We ran a market and incentive with them. And as a thank you, a prize, if you like, we hired a venue. We did it last year as well. So we're going to Trent View Fisheries, and with a few of the stores that won their incentive, and there's a couple of us going down, so I'll be going and doing a night there, which will be my first night out, I think, fishing. So that's looking forward to that.
It's work, mate. You can't say no.
No, exactly. Well, I said to her the other day, I was like, I could do with being away. You're going to be all right. She'll get her mum to come stay. So yeah, easing back into it, like I say, into
nice,
it. And hopefully, come spring, full guns blazing again, and yeah, back at it.
Cool. Lovely. That's a wrap. Thank you, everyone who's been listening, supporting the podcast. I hope you enjoyed having the last one. Sorry, when Dan couldn't make it. Got Jacob in.
Yeah,
I thought it was all right. I enjoyed it. But other than that, see you next time. Yeah,
keep sending them Agony Alfs in. That's, I think, my favourite part of them, especially reading through them all and deciphering. You know, a lot of them I read out in the office, but we can only pick one or two to come in. So keep sending them in. The email address for that is ukmarketing. No, it's not. It's not. It's podcast@nashtackle.co.uk. Edit that one, Mike. Just keep sending them in, and we'll keep going.
Sounds good. Peace and love, people.
See you later. Bye.